Hey, how's it going, guys? MRI Man coming back to you with another one, the MRI podcast. All right, I want to thank you guys. I want to welcome the new subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you for showing support, and it means a lot. And I tell you every time, it's what keeps me making the videos. You guys comment, leave questions you want me to answer, video ideas, because that's gonna keep me going. So yeah, I saw an interesting comment. It was talking about what to expect in the MRI interviews, and I guess fresh out of school, landing a job. My school kind of helped me find jobs. Like they were putting my resume out there, but I was applying a lot. Just talking to everybody I could, nurses, X-ray techs. I was just meeting as many people as I could in the industry, and asking if if possibly they can give me the manager's number or email so I can email her my resume. And I did that everywhere, man. And I found out that there was an agency, and agencies is like, you know they hire techs to work at other places to fill in the gaps. They're never really full time. So I was like, all right, agency, that there's a good chance of me getting a job through an agency. So I went through this agency. I'm not going to mention her name. Really shitty agency. Anyway, I had an interview. I was hyped up, and I came in my suit and tie, and I was like ready to go. And I went in there, and it's like a bootleg office. There's a computer there. I filled out some papers. I took a test on there, and I don't know, dude. It was the most basic test. It's like, what does MRI stand for? Magnetic resonant imaging. Uh, is it what is well safety questions about not bringing metal in there? It was really stupid test, man. Anyway, from there I knew that this place was just an agency, and they probably didn't know much about MRI. It was like the stupidest test like someone off the street can take. No technical questions. Anyway, so I get interviewed by this lady, and she's like, first thing she says is, I don't know what to ask you. I'm not an MRI tech. I know nothing about MRI. Do you think you can use this magnet? And it was like a 1.5 GE. And I went in my school, I learned on a 1.5 GE. So I was like, yeah, I can do it. And she's like, well, how much experience have you had? I was like, 6 months, you know, externship. So I don't know if you can do it. I don't know. So the thing is, you got to be so confident in the interview, and you got to say that you can do the job. Just say you can do it. Put me in there. I was like, I can do it. Tell them I can do it. How long? And she's like, how long is it gonna take you to learn this magnet? How much training do you need? I was like, I don't know, 2 weeks. She's like, oh, we can't do 2 weeks. We can only do a week. And I was like, screw it. I was like, in my head, I was like, yeah, I can do it. Just put me in. So I got in there, and they actually only trained me for 3 days. And like, are you ready? Because if you're not ready, we're gonna have to get someone else. I just said I was ready. I just went for it, man. I just went for it, and I got I got stuck and scanning some things, but I got through it. So that interview was BS. Anyway, I put in some time there, only about 3 months. Then I got a call from another agency. It was a traveling agency that was connecting me with a job, and it was actually a full-time job. And they were asking me if I was willing to relocate. Anyway, I had a phone interview first. In the phone interview was basically like the main interview, because when I went down there, they just gave it to me. But in the phone interview, it was actually I was getting interviewed by techs, a manager, tech two. I think it was like two techs and a manager, and two MRI techs, and they were asking me questions like, oh, so somebody that has MS, we're doing an MS brain. What scans would you do? And you got to know, like, all right, MS brain, you do like a sagittal flare. And they're like, okay, that's good. And if you're doing somebody that has hearing problems or vertigo, what protocol would you use? And I'm like, oh, easy, IACs, internal auditory canals, And it's like, okay, well, what would you do? I was like, oh, thin slices through the IACs, coronal. And they're like, okay, what if somebody had a trauma to their head? What would you use? And it's coronal flare, So it's like they're asking me actual questions, like, you know, about how to scan. So you got to know those basic things that I said. Those are like the number, because those are the most basic scans in the. So you got to know, for certain conditions, what scans would you do, and the difference. Okay. They'll ask you, what is a TR and what is a TE for a T1. It's low TR, low TE, and they want to know the ranges. And they'll probably ask you about a T2, high TR, high T, and stuff like that, like parameters. They'll ask you about, that what's T1, what's T2, you know. Um, and for the most part, that the rest of it is like a regular interview, name a difficult time that you had to work through yourself, or name a time you did teamwork. But know the basics of you know anatomy. They might show you some anatomy things of the brain, of the knee. Just know your basic anatomy, but know those scans. Know what to run. you know and you'll do all right. I don't know, maybe I'll make another video, but yeah, I can go on and on about different kind of scans, but for the most part, the ones I mentioned are the ones. And they just want to know your personality, if you're calm in stressful situations, and if you can communicate with radiologists, and they just want to know things like that. But the more knowledge, parameters, you'll impress them, like that. Well, tune in next time, subscribe, tell everybody about my channel so we can keep it growing. Stay tuned for the next one. I'm out. MRI man.